you get into coastal rowing?
I was sitting at home one day and messaging one of the lads about what they were up to, and they said they were in Tauranga doing some coastal rowing and that I should come down and give it a go. So I randomly turned up and jumped in a boat.
In your opinion, what is the biggest difference between coastal and flatwater rowing?
Quite a massive difference, I think. Like all the learning the waves and moving with the boat properly is quite different. It's quite a loose feel. I think as a flatwater rower we're very good at just putting the blade in and really hauling on it and pushing ourselves that way, but in coastal that doesn't really get the same effect. So learning to feel that boat feel the waves and get that rhythm a lot better. There's a lot of technique and tactics in coastal rowing that we are still learning as well.
Where do you see yourself going with coastal rowing?
There's options at the moment. I know for myself I definitely need to increase my fitness and get that feel back, but I would love to give it a nudge and see how far I could get with coastal rowing.
So you're not totally green, you have just competed at the Spanish national champs.
Yes.
How did that go for you? Any good learnings from it?
The first learning we found out in the double was probably to make sure you always go around the mark, not just over the mark. We got disqualified straight off the bat on our first race, so that was a good learning. But from there, going into the quad was really good. I think we have a good solid team base.
What's your cool name?
In grinding we get called meat batteries, so it's a pretty brutal one, but it's basically true.
How do you think you'll be able to transfer your knowledge from high-level sailing to coastal rowing?
There's actually more similarities in coastal rowing to sailing than actually flatwater. So being able to read the waves and the wind directions is quite important, and making sure that you're in the right position off the start line, whether you want to be close to the boat or to the pin, being able to position yourself to get that best start and get out in front, and keeping calm in rough situations and in waves also helps a lot.
With coastal rowing having such unpredictable conditions, how do you manage that in racing?
With the changing conditions all the time, I think that's one thing I learned even when I was in flatwater, is not to stress about that kind of situation. You control what you can control and you adapt to what you're doing, whether it be flat, calm or really choppy. So don't battle it. I think going with the flow and going with the waves is the optimal kind of situation in coastals.
Now, coastal rowing must be quite refreshing with coastal views, nice beaches and new coastlines to train in and race at. How does the change in environmental factors impact your mindset and motivation from your previous sporting endeavours?
That's a really good question. I think with the change in environment and coastal being quite a social sport at the moment, it's actually really good. Everyone's between the countries is really positive and really I guess everyone likes to share their knowledge in a growing sport, which is really cool. The locations are definitely pretty sweet. Kind of feels more of a refreshed rowing than just straight out high performance. Although there's a lot of elements of high performance, it's just got a good feel about it at the moment.
What advice would you give to other rowers considering having a go at coastal rowing?
I'd definitely say give it a go. What we're learning from coastal rowing is actually really applicable in flat water as well. I definitely see a good future in the sport, and I think it's something that New Zealand could be extremely good at if we give it the time and the effort.
Will we see another legendary wind at Worlds this year?
I'll be doing my best. Hopefully I don't have to leave it to that, but I'll pull it out if I have to.
Perfect, it's what we want to see. And finally, what's your 2K?
What's my 2K? Currently, or my old one?
You can choose.
My current one is not pretty. I haven't really given it a good nudge yet, but I don't really want to find out either.
Thank you, Joe. All the best for your Coastal World Champs.
Cheers.